What do you do if you want to run your own thing, but you're short on dollars? So I did some research, and it may surprise you how many things you can make money on without you having to spend money. What I call high ROI, low cash businesses. We are looking for a very particular type of business, one that cash flows to us, aka high ROI, but we don't have to spend a bunch of money up front. We'll talk about the 7 businesses to start with less than 1,000, what the real return and time expectations are, renting wedding arches, or really any wedding decoration. I love this business because have you seen what people spend on weddings? Astronomical. It's just like any idea to financial awareness goes out the window. Now, you could say that this could cost more than $1,000 to start, but I think there's a few ways to hack this, and it just might be one of the simplest businesses out there. So let's check it out. Average revenue per job, $521. Time commitment, let's call it 1 to 3 hours per job. Here's the story. Jimmy basically noticed that less than 22% of weddings take place indoors. That meant there was a market for mobile marriage supplies. So Jimmy started looking at the numbers. $2,200 to purchase the tents. Gigs were $500 and could be paid back after 4 installations or 4 gigs. The tents would last roughly 5 to 10 years. And he realized if I could just spend a couple K up front, I could make all of my money back with basically 5 to 10 jobs. Let's do the cost breakdown. About $1,100 for the arches and some of the accessories that go on them. Let's call it another $1,200 for the additional accessories that he could upsell people to. So we're in for what? $3,300. Okay, a little bit more than $1,000, but not much. But then look at this. Let's say that we do 60 different activations throughout the year. Basically just wedding season with a couple weddings a day. And we charge on average $1,500 for the arch plus the upsells. We're making $90,000. Then if we add tents and accessories, we're making another $90,000 to $100,000. So we're sitting at $180,000 to $190,000 a year. If you think from a time perspective, you're gonna expect to be at each location for about an hour to set up and an hour to take down. So 2 hours during your weekend. You could do 2 or 3 or 4 weddings a day, basically. And then finally, the materials last you anywhere from 2 to, they say 10 years, I don't know, but let's call it 2 to 5 years. So with that first amount of investment, $3,300, you can basically run your operations for 2 years. I think what you're gonna quickly find is the fancier stuff that you can have, the more add-ons you can add, the more money you can make. But I really like this rental equipment business. It looks like it hits all of our parameters. So what would I do to make sure that I had a ton of clients now that I know that the cost and the revenue is sufficient? 1, I would go straight to the source, wedding planners. They're always looking for new vendors. I would create a nice but not fancy website. I would start a social media account with a bunch of cool arches. They don't even have to be yours. They could just be inspo. And I would create a little 1-page email that I send people showing what my actual arches look like and pricing. I would reach out to these wedding planners individually, and I would also probably go to a couple wedding events. Once you get one person and they love it, guess what's gonna happen? They're gonna talk, and that wedding planner is gonna use your stuff again and again, but tweaked because you can have customization. You can certainly do search ads and dominate, let's say, remote suburbs where this isn't really something that's provided, but I think I would go straight to wedding planners before anything else. And with that, and a little bit of social media, you're going to be able to grow yourself a business that could do $180,000 a year. All right, let's break down if it hits our 3 components. High ROI. Well, we've just shown that Jimmy makes tens of thousands of dollars a year. We've just shown that we could make $180,000 a year, so I think it hits that. Low cash down. Well, we think it's probably more like 1 to 3K, not $1,000, but it's such an interesting model, I figured I'd throw it out there for you anyway. Also, during non-wedding season, I guess you could do baby showers, you could do anniversaries, you could do engagements. Looks like you're gonna be able to buy the goods and within 30 days, I would assume, put them together and get your first couple of customers. If your average cost is only 1 to 3K, you only need to do 2 to 5, again, of these weddings in order for you to cash flow what you need.